So you cleared your debts and saved some money from a rainy day, and you finally have the money that you want in order to put down that down payment on your dream home. But there's a current problem happening, which is that borrowing money is more expensive than it has been. And I know it's tough to predict whether housing prices are going to go up or down or stay the same. So the big question that you're probably asking yourself is, should I buy a home now or should I wait for a time and interest rates dropping? Let's break down all the facts in this video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so that you're always in the loop with all of our latest home buying strategies and tips. The borrowing cost has been soaring recently, and chances are you're stuck in the waiting game, waiting for lower interest rates and possibly missing out on that perfect dream home. This video will be your guide to figuring out the best way to proceed on that home buying journey. I'm Stephanie, and I have been a top producing agent in Chicago for over 20 years. And today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of buying now versus waiting for later. I'm going to give you the best tips so that you can decide what is best for you. I know that it can be really challenging trying to time the market. You're ready to buy and interest rates are 1 point, and then you go to actually get under contract for something and interest rates are higher. And now all of a sudden your payment's higher. And how does that look for your overall budgeting? I know these can all be really tricky to navigate through. Over my career, I have had so many clients trying to make this perfect timing happen, where interest rates are low, prices are low, and it's a great time to buy. Well, guess what happens during those times? Everyone is in the market buying, right? Because everyone recognizes when rates drop. And when that happens, what happens to prices? They go way up because so many people are in the market looking. So a lot of times when we talk about pricing and interest rates, the bigger factor to take into consideration is really supply and demand. So when we have very little supply, prices tend to be really high. And when we have so much supply or an abundance of supply, then that tends to kind of plateau prices or even sometimes have them dip a little bit because there's so much available in the market. Now, the way interest rates and pricing also come in as factors is that obviously when rates are 1 point and then they drop, there might be a lot of buyers sitting on that fence that decide to jump into the market because they're seeing that extra value add of interest rates going down. And the same thing happens when interest rates adjust up. If you've been pre-approved at a certain interest rate and then the rates jump, that is a huge change for those particular pre-approved buyers. And that can be really challenging because they've been looking at properties at certain price points based on that specific interest rate from their original pre-approval. And so when rates jump, that really stalls the buyers that are currently in the market because it's a change in interest rate. The reality is when a new buyer comes into the market, they only know what the current interest rate is. They don't necessarily look back and say, I was pre-approved at this rate and this is what my payment looked like. They're only looking to the future. So there's a misnomer about interest rates going up causing prices to go down, but that doesn't really happen because, as I mentioned, that's just the reality for all the new buyers getting into the market. And here's the thing, buyers need to buy when they need to buy. It doesn't necessarily have any reflection on the interest rates, but there is a reflection on the buying behavior because of what you've maybe been pre-approved for and what the interest rates actually look like once you find that dream home. If you look at the historical trends, there really is not a trend behind housing prices dipping when interest rates are going up unless it's over a very long duration of time. I believe that it's 2 years, year after year, of interest rates rising that will then have an impact on prices. But in the short term, that doesn't happen. And so most buyers that are out in the market today are not going to realize that small price reduction unless they sort of wait in the market for a longer period of time. In the meantime, you are paying to live somewhere. And so all of the money that you're spending at rent during that time also could be added to your equity in the property. And so in my opinion, it does not make sense to wait to try and wait out the lower interest rates coming. Here's the other thing that happens when the rates drop. As I mentioned before, prices tend to go up when rates drop. There are always a number of buyers sitting on that fence, regular home buyers and then also investors. And so a lot of times what we will see is that you will have all of these people jump into the market when there is a small change in terms of interest rate. And so then we're back to the supply and demand. There's a huge demand for the same number of homes or inventory on the market, and that inevitably drives up price. So you're always better off getting into the property at a certain price and then refinancing when rates go down. That's going to give you the ability to take advantage of where current prices are and take advantage of your payment going down once those interest rates drop. There's so much speculation about when are those rates going to drop or when are they going to rise and when is that going to affect pricing. And we've talked a lot about how that affects pricing. But in terms of timing the market on the interest rates going up or down, this is a moving target that we really can't plan or predict. There have been people, many economists with many degrees working on trying to predict this market, and it's almost impossible to do. So the timing of the market or the notion of timing the market is really a misnomer that we all need to let go. If now is the time that you are in need of purchasing a home, which I think is everyone that maybe is renting, if you plan to be in a place for more than 2 years, you are always better off buying for a whole number of reasons. Let's talk about some of these reasons. Number one, we cannot time the market as we discussed before. So if you're in need of purchasing a home or you need somewhere to live, you are always better off building up equity in that home and investing in yourself and your future of doing that. When you are renting, you are just throwing the money out the window. There is no chance of getting that back. When you own, you always have an opportunity based on current market conditions to gain back that money. So I like to do this little test. Pretend you're paying $2,000 a month in order to live somewhere. Over a 2-year period, that's $48,000. So now imagine you're selling your place after 2 years. Even if you could sell it for what you bought it for, even with closing costs being taken into consideration, you're still coming out ahead than you would be having spent the $48,000 and paying someone else's mortgage. Remember, we're always paying somebody's mortgage payment. It's just whether or not we're paying our own. Number two, there's the enjoyment of owning your own home and being able to do improvements in the home that will then not only add to the additional equity, but also will allow you to enjoy it more. Number three, the notion of saving money over time in order to buy something larger or something that's more of your dream home versus even just buying something to get into something is actually a misnomer. It's very challenging to continue to save money unless you make major changes in your lifestyle. You maybe stop going on vacations, don't spend as much money on the weekends. It's all going to be kind of your entertainment costs. All of our fixed expenses really are the same whether we are buying or renting. So it's really challenging to find a lot of extra money on a monthly basis to save. So with that being said, the sooner you jump in and start investing that equity into a home so that you have a piece of property that actually builds in value over time and also with what you're putting into it, you're going to continue just having money go out of pocket. So with all this being said, the best next step is going to make sure that you're getting a pre-approval done with a trusted lender who is going to go through all of your financials and really analyze what numbers are going to be really comfortable for you. And I highly recommend looking at those numbers, even if interest rates adjust up or down a little bit, because in today's market where they are a little more volatile, it's important to understand all of the possibilities and what those look like so that you're not one of the buyers that gets pre-approved at a certain price and is only looking at properties that keep you at a certain monthly payment and then have interest rates adjust up a little bit and then get freaked out that you can no longer move forward with your home buying process. Make sure to look at a bunch of different figures so that you can be comfortable even if rates happen to adjust up or down a little bit during your home search process. So you think you're ready to buy in this market, but you're not sure how to navigate moving forward. Book a personal consultation with me. If you found this video helpful, give us a like, hit subscribe, and don't forget to ring the notifications bell so that you don't miss out on any additional home buyer strategies.